Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're conducting some Astra stock analysis. We're going to talk about exactly where the company's at, what the threat is for the future, what the potential success is coming forward as well. We've finally had a successful paying customer launch, and there's more launches lined up this month and following on into May and for the rest of the year for that matter. So we're going to delve in, we're going to have a big look, and we're going to actually see what's going to go on with this company over the coming year and what this could do to the stock price going forward. If that sounds like something you're interested in today, guys, smash that like button, consider subscribing to the channel and jump into the video. Hey guys, welcome into the video. So here we are on the landing page for Astra. As we can see, the company has had a good last month or so with this recent successful launch of a paying customer's satellites. A lot better than the previous launch, which obviously ended in failure. Market cap sitting at over $1 billion, 10% up on the month. If we track back a little bit further though, you can see where this came down from earlier on in the year, which is quite a significant drop. It was up at about $11 a share, so you're still a pretty decent long way down if you bought in at this high point here. However, there are positive mutings coming from this stock, and it's even been touted on the Motley Fool at the moment by a guy called John Chong. Released today, it's down 40% over the year, but it has a healthy cash balance, zero debt, and the share side has a significant upside. I feel this too as an Astra shareholder, and the introduction of the Rocket 4, which has a heavier payload capacity, could be a game changer. We all know by now what Astra actually wants to do. It wants to revolutionise the space race essentially, or the space market, space launch market, by doing it in the most cost-effective, economical way possible, and targeting the biggest chunk of the market, which is often small satellites, and that's what they're going to get paid for during their launch. Cash is obviously king. They still have 325 million in cash for Q3 2021. And the cash burn has decreased from 68 million to 53 million, and actually when you look at it per quarter, it's more like 40 million. So they've still got quite a while to go before they start running out of cash and have to look at either raising extra money or raising debt, one of the two. They've got a lot more cash and see a lot more upside than their competitors Rocket Lab or Virgin Orbit, and I do believe, like Chong believes in the CEO Chris Kemp, Rocket 4 customers are looking good because the Soyuz and the sanctions that are applied against the state that shall not be named at the moment essentially sent the price share soaring, because basically people thought that with that rocket not being available it would help Astra. This did and will help over the future, but it initially lost out on OneWeb to SpaceX instead. But SpaceX is a far better developed company, and it wanted heavier things being launched, and SpaceX is definitely the company to do that. Astra is all about smaller, low Earth orbit satellites that are going to be cost effective, and they're going to still be able to cram lots of them in there and get to the space essentially in the cheapest way possible. Nevertheless, there have been some awesome trouble over, especially with the rocket launch failure, with customers on board, but they have been making progress on this. They learned from that disaster, and that's exactly what space has happened with space and has happened in the past. NASA's had launch failures go wrong, so has SpaceX. It is just part of being in this space company. There are significant upside. There is a significant upside available. The share price does seem discounted at the moment at just $4 a share, and it does seem to have bottomed out in the $3.50 to $4 range. So even when a rocket goes bang on the way up, that's where the share price goes. And they've got significant progress coming with the launch schedule that I'm going to go on to in a minute. So they recently also announced their fourth quarter and full year 2021 results, and the highlights of this are listed here below. They successfully completed 2 out of the 3 orbital launches since the last call on November the 11th. Obviously one of those did go fail on trying to get those satellites into orbit. However, they did deploy 22 of those satellites on March the 15th, 2022. They conducted a successful orbital test flight on the 20th of November for the United States Space Force, and the backlog has increased to $160 million, which is a growth of 10 million based on what was happening in 2021. So there is significant revenue to be out there for this company. They've also garnered the venture class acquisition dedicated rideshare contract, presenting a potential $300 million opportunity over the next 5 years. They conducted the first launch at Cape Canaveral, which is absolutely key, so they can launch from 2 places now, and they've redeemed all their outstanding public warrants. So that now means that the shares available should not dilute too much further unless they go out trying to raise extra money, but they don't seem to need that at the moment based on the 325 million held in cash and cash equivalents. The net loss was 51 million over the 3 months ended December 21, and adjusted loss for the quarter was 37 million, total expenditures 19, and then back to usual cash. So that still says that they've got the cash burn rate is up, obviously, because they're still trying to grow, but they've still got 3, 4, 5 quarters to go based on the cash that they've currently got, and that's not including any revenue that they're going to generate along the way, which is obviously hopefully going to start ratcheting up towards the end of the year. They've obviously filed their 10k as well, and you can see what their plans are for the first quarter 2022. So you can see the loss rate remains pretty much similar. They've got stock-based compensation of about 20 million, cash and taxes is approx 0, and the basic outstanding shares also remain the same. That's not too bad. It is actually quite positive. They've got some good things coming down the pipeline, and they're a learning company. They're doing well in terms of responding to incidents that have happened that have affected obviously their launch schedules and their launches that have happened. So I like to see that. I like to see companies that learn from their mistakes. That is key to success of a space company, obviously, because they have to go over it, pour over it, and they have to satisfy the Federal Aviation Authority over at the FAA. Sorry, I couldn't get that out a second ago. The FAA, they have to satisfy that, so they have to do everything by the book and dissect everything to the nth degree to make sure that they're doing everything properly, and that is a really good thing for this company to do going forward. The significant upside on this company is essentially just to get back to where it was when it de-SPACed. It was at $10 to $11 a share, so some more successful launches, more paying customers on board, the backlog growing will also help boost that share price back up to that level and potentially beyond, which is 100% return on your investment right there. Looking at the launch schedule coming up, there's 2, the Tropics 3 and 4 mission. Astra is an Astra Rocket 3, of course, and is scheduled for launch on Saturday the 30th of April at 1 AM at Cape Canaveral. And we have the Tropics 1 and 2, same thing again, on the 30th of April as well, also at Cape Canaveral. So that could be 2 launches that could successfully boost the share price right there, especially if they're successful. Then moving on just a little bit past a couple of competitors there, they plan on launching yet again very early in May. The date isn't quite set in stone yet for the Tropics 5 and 6, and it's another Astra 3 rocket, so it'd be fantastic to see when that is. If that comes in early May, that is 3 big catalysts for the share price. As long as there are successful launches one after another like that, will positively affect the share price. I'm pretty confident about that, as all good news would do. And then we're all getting on to looking at the orbital first flight test for the Starship. Now that will just garner interest in space and space stocks further anyway. It'll be all over the media, and that might also have a positive effect on the share price. Elon Musk, SpaceX, the Starship, it is incredibly famous, so it might just get a few people ticking into and having a look around for other space stocks that they can invest in, because obviously you can't directly invest in SpaceX. If you want to do that, you need to go more like into Google or wait for Starlink to IPO whenever that is. But Astra is a space company that you can get in before it goes off to the moon, pardon the pun, because it's only just getting started. And this is where SpaceX was not that long ago, actually. If you only go back 5 years, you could get to a place where SpaceX is exactly where Astra is now, trying to develop its product, trying to prove its product, and trying to bring paying customers on board. Obviously, as an investor in this company, I'm very pleased to see it making progress, and I really want to see a good return coming forward from the $4 low price that we're at the moment. And I genuinely think that it can do that with the progress that we've seen, what we've got coming down the pipeline, the backlog. I really do believe that the rest of the year is going to be genuinely positive for Astra stock going forward. The only caveat to that is obviously this is rocket science, this is space is hard, so any sort of failure to launch or launches being postponed for whatever reason will adversely affect the share price. And because it is a new company, people are pulling out of the company way quicker than ultimately I believe that a proper believer in the company ultimately should. But I also understand that they want to move their money on elsewhere if they possibly can. For me, I do believe in the company, I believe in the CEO, the management and the product. It does look fantastically good. So if you're on board with that, do please like this video. Let's get it out there. Let's tell other investors about it. Let's tell other Astra investors. Let's reassure people that just because the share price is particularly low at the moment, the product is sound, the management is sound, the pipeline is sound, and they have an awful lot of cash on hand. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, guys. If you could see your way to subscribing to the channel on the way out, that'd be absolutely awesome. And I'll see you in another Astra, Hyliion, SoFi stock or multiple other stocks episodes. Catch you later.